Hey guys, welcome to the Average Guys Fishing Channel. Today I'm going to be talking about Henry Hagg Lake out in Gaston, Oregon. This is a lake that's very well known in the area for both trout, bass, and all kinds of fish actually, but I'm going to be focusing in on trout fishing for this particular lake. Now keep in mind that there is a $5 day pass use to go in if you're just going to be fishing off the bank like I do. So keep that in mind when you head out there, because it does suck to get out there and realize you don't have any money on you. And my suggestion would be to, while you're looking at this map here, focus on boat ramp A to start with. Start at boat ramp A and slowly work your way around the lake. It is a very popular section. There's a parking area, and that's where all the boats park. But there is a lot of shoreline, a lot of bank area that you can fish, and most of the large fish that I've caught have been in this area. Now, there has been some changes to the lake. They've added a lot of water to it, and it has changed the overall makeup of the lake. But if you get out there and you do good and you use the right equipment, you should have a good time and have some pretty good luck with trout fishing in this area. Now, once you go and you fish in the boat ramp area and you get kind of sick of that, you can move over into the picnic areas. There's St. Creek, there's several different picnic areas. This one right here is one that I like for bluegill, crappie. There's even some channel cat way out in the lake. You can go out here, you can drop some worms. You can go out here in like August, late September, or excuse me, late August, early September with bobber and worms, and you'll catch a ton of bluegill and crappie. It's just a cool area. It doesn't get very crowded. It does tend to fill up around the picnic area times in August, and you know, sometimes they'll have a birthday party or something out there, so you might wind up finding yourself with a whole lot of people around you. That kind of sucks, but you know, there is areas that you can go to where there's nobody around. And my suggestion would be, if you see that, if you run into that, just kind of keep moving on, because a lot of times a lot of the noise, a lot of people fishing will scare the fish off, and you don't want to be dealing with a whole lot of people. If you travel a little bit farther on, you'll run into the St. Creek area. Now, there's not a whole lot of fish around this area, but it's cool to kind of walk around. You can see different, it's almost like a rapids, St. Creek running into Henry Hagg. Very cool thing to look at, a lot of area to explore. I would say be careful if you're out there alone, especially if you're a lady. There's some unsavory characters that you'll see out there every once in a while, and it's kind of a abandoned area away from the road, so just kind of be careful if you're going to be moving around out there by yourself. I wouldn't say you need to carry a weapon or anything, but just kind of be conscious that it is an area that is pretty remote, and there's not a lot of foot traffic in this area at the time. So you could be out there by yourself, you could be out there with you know, a weirdo, so just be careful. Now, some of the fish that you're going to catch in here, this one right here is a 14-inch stalker. That's the biggest of the trout that I've ever caught in that lake, and this was a beauty, is a rainbow. Some of them you'll catch anywhere from, you know, they stock it quite a bit since it's such a huge lake, thousands and thousands at a time. This one here is about a 10-inch. He's a little smaller. The things that you're going to catch out there are going to be pretty big, but I would say that the average from the banks are probably going to be between 8 and 10 inches if you're lucky. Like I've been, sometimes you can catch 12 and 14-inch, and even bigger, because there are some out there that are smart, that'll last, that won't get picked up. But it is a heavily fished lake, especially around stocking time, so just kind of keep that in mind. Hopefully you'll be able to pick some of those hogs out. Let's talk a little bit about some of the stuff that I've had some good luck with. This in particular, these are Berkeley trout eggs, power eggs to be exact. The colors I've always used are chartreuse, orange, and pink. And as you can see here, you can do it in a different variety. You can do single, you can do it as twos, you can even do it as threes. I would suggest starting with one, and if you're not having any luck, switch to two. I wouldn't really go into threes, because the fish out there don't send, you know, they're not really big enough to bite something like that. I've never had luck with it anyway. And on the eggs, one of the things that I like to use as opposed to power bait, which is another thing we'll talk about, is the fact that you can continue to use them over and over. They very rarely ever get damaged. A lot of times, even if the fish swallow them, you can get them back out. And what I like to do is put a little bit of scent on it and throw on some glitter so that it kind of shows in the water as fish scales, which attracts them, and everybody knows that fish like shiny things, so we have some good luck with these. The other thing is power bait. Now this here right that I'm showing in the picture is not actually power bait, but it's basically the same idea. One thing that I've found with baits and lures a lot of times in fishing is you don't necessarily always have to go with a name brand. This here is Strike. It's orange and white and yellow and white, or chartreuse if you want to call it that. And it's something that I got on sale at Bi-Mart, and it works just as well as power bait. It's basically the same type of thing. It's dough bait, something that you wrap around your hook. I always make it in kind of a football shape with it going up the line so that it stays on. I'm not a huge fan of power bait. I've had good luck with it, but it's very difficult sometimes to keep it on, especially if you're in rough water. A lot of times fish could come up and bite it right off your hook. And it's a lot of time wasting because you don't realize that they do it. You reel it in and it's gone. Or it can even get bounced off the, if your line's bouncing around, even the water or hitting a rock can actually get it to come right off your line. So not a huge fan, but it is very popular, probably the most popular thing for catching stock trout. Last but not least is worms, of course. It is a proven fact that live bait will always outfish artificial bait. Although with trout, I haven't had as much luck with worms as with artificial bait. But the thing with worms is anything will bite a worm. I mean, it's something that's going to be attractive to them. It's something that's native to their area for the most part. Excuse me. It's going to be flopping around and wiggling around in the water. It's going to attract not only trout, but anything else that may be in the area. So, it's one of those things that, shoot, if you don't catch a trout, maybe you'll catch a bass with it. Maybe a crappie or a bluegill will see it. You'll have a lot of good luck with worms. One suggestion would be, if you go and buy worms in a container like this, like say from Bi-Mart or Fred Meyer's or one of those places, is to open it up and take a look to make sure the worms are alive. I have seen a lot of times when I've pulled worms out and they are dead as an doornail because they've been in the freezer for a long time. So maybe pull from the back and make sure that they're lively and not just a bunch of mush, because that sucks to get out there and realize that your worms are dead. Some of the lures that I've had the best luck with, going back to the name brand issue, this is actually modeled after a Castmaster, which is a very awesome trout lure. I should say a lure that's great for catching trout. Right here you see gold, blue, and silver, and then silver. The silver one, I actually added a little flasher to the end of it just for the heck of it. These are very expensive. They can go anywhere from $3 to $6. If you go to Fred Meyer's, you can actually get a pack of 3 for about $5, and it's basically the same thing. I don't recall the exact name of them, but it's something similar to Castmaster. Same idea, same basic design, and they work the same. They work really well. They anger the fish. They're very flashy. They're cool to watch in the water, and you can really bomb these little guys out. They've got just the right amount of weight for a lure. You can really get them out there. You can bring them back in. It'll rattle. It'll shine. It'll make the fish angry, being the predatory animals that they will, and they'll love to just tag these. Another thing that you can use is rooster tails. This actually is one of the things that I want to say, get actual rooster tails, because I have purchased non-name brand rooster tails in the past. They look exactly the same, they cost less, but when you get them out there, a lot of times the flashers don't even spin, and that exactly is, that's what you don't want to have, and that goes against the whole idea of using the rooster tail, because you want that spinner to really spin and catch the eyes of the fish, and if it's not spinning, then it's kind of pointless. I still have caught some on those, but I would say definitely go with the rooster tails, spend a couple extra bucks, or something comparable. It doesn't have to be rooster tail, but you really get what you pay for, at least with the spinners, in my opinion. The rest of them, like the Castmasters, you can go generic, and you can have the same amount of fun and the same amount of results. But rooster tails are one of the things that are very popular. They'll catch just about any fish, not only trout, bass, panfish, sunfish, crappie, bluegill, anything. It'll go after these. The last thing that I always use is, now this isn't the original bottle that it comes in because the bottle's pretty big and I like to carry a small tackle, is Berkeley Trout Scent. This is the one I've had the most use with. I've used Smelly Jelly, I've used other scents, shrimp, I've used the one that smells like licorice, but this one seems to do the best, and it's not so much to use it as a scent for the trout to attract them, but it's more to mask your scent, because fish have incredibly powerful noses and they have incredibly good smelling, and anything that they may smell that turns them off from what you're presenting to them may cause them not to bite. So just a little bit of this out there to get that extra smell on there, to get rid of your human smell, will definitely help you out. So these are just a few of the things that I've had luck with at Henry Hagg, and hopefully you will do the same. Like I said, if you don't have a boat like I don't, and you're a bank fisherman, there's lots of stuff that you can go out and fish for. There's lots of bank access. There's lots of areas that you can go and hit up at this lake. So thank you for watching. Hope this helps, and we'll see you out there fishing. Have a great day.